Hey there, avid listeners. Thanks again for tuning in to Sin's Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Alright, today we're going to be talking about City of Villains by Estelle Laurie. I think it's safe to say I am a fan of Laurie's writing style. I think it's really great how she draws a lot of callbacks and inspiration from a lot of different works, and she's done that again with City of Villains. We saw it strongly in Mayhem, which incorporated elements of The Craft and Lost Boys. But with this novel, what I think is really great is it's a Disney novel. Clearly, has your classic Disney villains, the Queen of Hearts, Captain Hook, Ursula, Maleficent. You have these classic characters, lots of fan favorite characters. Honestly, I think as we grow older, we find ourselves more in line with the villains of the story, just because they're so realistic. I love Maleficent as a character. I love fairy tales. I've grown up reading anything that has to do with fantasy. But this novel is a little different. So it follows Mary Elizabeth Hart. She's an intern for the police department. She's 17 years old. She goes to high school in the Scar. Now, the Scar is pretty much like Storybrooke. It's your average city, and yes, I did reference Storybrooke from Once Upon a Time. It is a city that, is in the real world, and it had magic in it. But now, magic is gone. But it's left its little imprints, perfect weather, the clouds taking particular shapes. People like Mary Elizabeth Hart, they were all born with little black hearts somewhere on their body. They're what they call legacies. They are a descendant of people with magic, and they have their own little imprints. Either it's a sixth sense, an intuition. There is something that draws them, something magical about their existence and these little markings on their body. So Mary Elizabeth Hart, she is an intern, and she's paired up with Belle, a rookie detective. And of all things, they are investigating the missing persons case of Mally F. Saint. Let's just call her Maleficent, because later on in the book she does call herself Maleficent, and I think it's really funny that she does it the way the reader does. Like, Mally F. Saint, if you say that really fast, it's Maleficent, so you already know. And she has a pet bird, Helion. It's her emotional support bird. So I think, and her best friend is Ursula, right? And her boyfriend is Captain Hook. You think Mary Elizabeth Hart, you think the Queen of Hearts is going to be the villain of a story, but she's not. In fact, she is the hero, and the villains are not the actual villains we would think of them. They're just teenagers who got caught up in the experimentation and schemes of rich people who want to bottle magic. Well, as Rumpelstiltskin always said, magic comes with a price. And it does. They are losing their humanity. The Queen of Hearts sees it, and I think it's really interesting to see the story develop in that way, to see her best friends slowly begin to lose their humanity. We are seeing the cost of what magic is, and it's like this novel is a crime thriller, mystery thriller with fantasy elements. I mean, it's a really good young adult novel. I absolutely love it. I think it is engaging. I think it is fast paced. I mean, I was hooked from beginning to end. I was hooked because it has all these classic characters, but they are retold and they're brought to life in a very unique way. I've never seen a story like this before. Which is why I think Laurie is, probably going to be one of my new favorite authors, because she takes something that we're all kind of familiar with, but she reinvents it in a way that is truly unique, and I really do appreciate that. I really do like that. I like seeing these characters brought to life in a very different way. I haven't seen this before, and I do think that that's very clever. I do think it is very ingenious. I do think it is well written, ultimately. I loved the story. I loved the progression of the story. I love how it developed. I think it is, at the end of the day, an excellent story. I really can't say that enough. I couldn't put it down. I think I read it within 2 days, and I have to give it 5 stars. When I was first mulling it over, I was like, oh, it's a 4-star novel, yeah. But, the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, I'm loving it more and more. And I love that. I love when a book makes me want to buy it, because I do plan on buying this book. Let me just say that. I plan on buying this book and putting it on my bookcase. I want to thank Disney Hyperion for giving me an arc of the book. Thank you so much, because it's an excellent novel. I just love how the story begins. I love how it ends. I love how we're seeing these new characters brought to life in very new and different ways. I do think it is something worth reading. Let me just end there. It is something worth reading. It is very engaging from beginning to end. I can't stress that enough. So once again, this is City of Villains by Estelle Laurie. I'm going to go ahead and give it 5 stars. Honestly, if you love fairy tales, if you love crime, if you like mystery, thrillers, young adult fantasy, this novel has all of those elements, and it's so well written. It's so well constructed. The pacing is well thought out. And those moments where Maleficent gets her horns and Ursula gets her tentacles, those just made me squeal inside in the best way possible. Like, this is it. This is the moment they're becoming the villains. This is the moment they're becoming who we know. I fangirled at those moments like a dork. Not gonna lie. So, I recommend purchasing this book from your local bookseller or from bookshop.org, which does support local booksellers. If money's tight, please check out the book from your local library. Libraries deserve all the support we can give them. And I hope you all will continue to support me by liking this podcast and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. On that note, hope you all have a great rest of your day. And as always, happy reading.